The room is dark except for one thing, your monitor. Blue light cutting across your face like a searchlight you never asked for. You think your PC is idle. You think it's resting. You're wrong. Right now, at this exact moment, a process called recall.exe is awake. It's been awake for hours. It took a screenshot of your screen 14 seconds ago. It took another 122 seconds before that. It has been doing this silently, relentlessly, since the day you upgraded to Windows 11 and clicked Next without reading the fine print. Every document you opened, every banking page you visited, every private message you typed and then deleted, stored, indexed, searchable. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is a feature. Microsoft calls it Windows Recall. Security researchers call it something else entirely. And tonight, we're going to show you exactly what's happening inside your machine, down to the voltage, down to the process identifier, down to the specific chip that is supposed to be protecting you but isn't. We're going to show you the hidden kill switch that Microsoft built into your hardware. And we're going to show you the escape route that 2 million people have already taken. Stay with me. This gets worse before it gets better. Let's start with the architecture, because the devil is always in the architecture. Microsoft first announced Recall in May 2024 as part of its push to deeply integrate AI into Windows 11. The feature acts like a photographic memory of your computer activity, automatically capturing screenshots of your entire screen every few seconds, storing them in a centralized, searchable database. Sound useful? Let's talk about what that actually means in practice. Your TPM 2.0 chip, the Trusted Platform Module soldered directly onto your motherboard, was sold to you as a security device. Microsoft mandated it for Windows 11. You couldn't install the OS without it. They told you it was to protect your data. What they didn't tell you clearly enough is that the same TPM 2.0 that encrypts your drive also holds the authentication keys that unlock the entire Recall database, every screenshot, every timestamp, every pixel of your private life. Microsoft shipped Recall to broad availability in April 2025 with elaborate security measures, including isolating it in a VBS enclave, making it unreadable to third-party apps, and filtering out sensitive information like passwords and credit card details. Sounds airtight, right? Here's where it falls apart. Security researcher Alexander Haganah built a tool called Total Recall. Haganah cited new vulnerabilities suggesting that while Windows 11's local storage security is solid, the way Windows 11 delivers that data makes it easy for bad actors to gain unauthorized access. The vault is solid, the delivery truck is not. Your encrypted screenshots can be intercepted in transit, between the VBS enclave and whatever process is requesting them. The lock on the front door is excellent, the window in the back is open. Meanwhile, Copilot SVC, the background service powering Microsoft's AI assistant integration, is running at all times on Copilot Plus hardware, consuming CPU cycles for inference tasks you never consciously initiated. On machines running Intel's NPU alongside a standard workload, users have documented that AI-adjacent background services collectively account for 25 to 35% of sustained CPU load during idle periods. This is exactly why your PC feels slow. This is exactly why your fan is spinning when you're doing nothing. It is not doing nothing. It is working for Microsoft. Microsoft's Recall feature on Copilot Plus PCs has been described as using periodic snapshots to let you search what you previously saw, leading to major privacy discussion and changes around security and opt-in controls. But here's the critical word in that sentence, opt-in. Because for months after launch, Recall was not opt-in. It was opt-out, and the opt-out was buried. This is Bill Gates' worst nightmare. Not that the feature exists, but that people are finally starting to read the menus. Now let's talk about the hardware. Because the surveillance crisis doesn't exist in isolation. It exists on top of a hardware crisis that nobody is talking about loudly enough. Your RTX 50 series GPU, the flagship of NVIDIA's Blackwell architecture, the card you paid $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000 for, is running hotter than it should be, not at the GPU core. There, temperatures are manageable. Infrared tests have shown temperatures climbing above 100 degrees C in the power delivery region on the back of RTX 50 series PCBs, even though the GPU die stays below 80 degrees. This is the silicon lottery, and you lost it at the factory. Card makers like Palette, PNY, and MSI have all seen the same issue since they closely follow NVIDIA's reference PCB layout. A big part of the trouble comes down to how PCB designers and cooler engineers work separately. One team designs where the copper planes go. Another team designs the cooler. They never speak to each other. You buy the result. The RTX 5090 draws 575 watts at peak load. 575 watts. That is more than some microwave ovens. Peak power draw hitting 600 watts on the RTX 5090 under load means stock cooling solutions leave significant performance on the table. And NVIDIA, in a move that has infuriated thermal engineers across the industry, Remove the hotspot temperature sensor from the RTX 50 series entirely. The sensor that used to warn you, gone. You're flying blind. MSI's GeForce RTX 5090 Lightning Z, with its $5,090 price tag, cracked under extreme testing. An aggressive BIOS and a sudden thermal imbalance cracked the GPU core itself, killing one of the test samples mid-experiment. That is a $5,000 card. Cracked. By heat that the software never warned you about because the sensor was disabled. And now combine this with what Windows 11 is doing in the background. Recall.exe is taking screenshots. Copilot SVC is running inference. DiagTrack, also known as the Connected User Experiences and Telemetry Service, is packaging your usage data and transmitting it to Microsoft servers on a schedule you cannot meaningfully audit without enterprise tools. Your 575-watt GPU is hot, your CPU is loaded, and somewhere in Redmond, a server rack is getting richer. The Silicon Lottery, the Thermal Lottery, the Privacy Lottery, you're playing all three simultaneously and you did not buy a ticket. Zorin OS 18, a Linux distribution designed to mimic Windows, hit 2 million downloads in under 3 months since its October 2025 launch, with over 75% of those downloads coming from Windows users. 2 million people in 90 days. That is not a trend. That is a migration. That is a civilization-level shift in how people relate to the machines they own. The timing was not accidental. Zorin timed the release of Zorin OS 18 for October 14th, 2025. The same day Microsoft cut mainstream support for Windows 10 and reported unusually heavy download activity in the immediate launch window. Microsoft handed them the marketing campaign. Every user who turned on their Windows 10 machine and saw the end-of-life banner was handed a reason to look elsewhere. Millions of them looked, and what they found was an operating system with zero forced telemetry, zero background AI snapshots, and zero Copilot SVC eating their CPU. Both Linux Mint and Zorin OS are privacy-forward. Neither includes intrusive telemetry by default, and both encourage user control over cloud integrations and data flows. This is not a minor distinction. This is the entire product philosophy, stated plainly. Your computer. Your rules? Not Microsoft's rules, not Redmond's inference engine. Yours. There is no forced telemetry comparable to Windows. Updates are optional and user-controlled. No sudden reboots, no surprise installations. Read that sentence again, read it slowly. When was the last time Windows 11 asked for your permission before rebooting at 2 a.m.? When was the last time it gave you a genuine choice about what it installed? And ThinkPad users, the corporate road warriors, the developers, the sysadmins, are quietly making their move. Enterprise buyers are ordering ThinkPad L series and X1 Carbon units specifically to install Linux, bypassing the AI PC ecosystem Microsoft is trying to mandate. The bloatware, the mandatory Microsoft accounts, the Copilot button hardwired into keyboards. All of it vanishes the moment you boot a live USB and follow the guided installer. 14 minutes. That is the average install time for Zorin OS 18 on a modern ThinkPad. 14 minutes to reclaim your machine. Let's talk DDR6, because the memory architecture matters here and most people are not connecting the dots. The next generation of AI PC hardware is being designed around DDR6 at base speeds beginning at 8400 MTES, with latency timings starting at CL40 to CL42 at reference spec. The memory subsystem is being co-designed with always-on NPU pipelines specifically to accelerate local AI inference, meaning recall, Copilot, and whatever comes after them. The hardware is being built from the ground up to make background AI processing faster and more power efficient. They are not optimizing your hardware for your gaming. They are optimizing your hardware for their surveillance pipeline. TPM 2.0, as currently implemented across Intel Nova Lake and AMD Zen 6 platforms, holds the decryption keys for the recall database inside the secure enclave. That sounds safe, but the attack surface is not the chip. It is the authentication handoff. The tool, Total Recall, can extract sensitive data from Windows Recall, even without Windows Hello authentication. The gate is locked. The fence around the gate is missing. This is the hidden kill switch. Not a button you can press. A vulnerability baked into the trust architecture, an assumption that the chain from TPM to VBS enclave to application layer is unbreakable. It is not unbreakable. It never was. Pivot 2. The hardware repair renaissance. Something extraordinary is happening in parallel to all of this, and it is being largely ignored by mainstream tech media because it does not fit the upgrade cycle narrative. People are fixing their computers, not replacing them, fixing them. Right to repair legislation that passed in multiple U.S. states between 2024 and 2025 has created a measurable uptick in the secondary market for repairability-rated hardware. Framework laptops, Lenovo ThinkPads, and older Dell Latitude models, machines designed with accessible internals, socketed RAM, and replaceable storage, are being bought, refurbished, and loaded with Linux Mint or Zorin OS. A 5-year-old ThinkPad T14 with 32 GB of DDR4 and a fresh NVMe SSD running Linux Mint's Cinnamon desktop is, for the vast majority of daily computing tasks, faster than a brand new Copilot Plus PC drowning in background processes. An estimated 240 million computers are incompatible with Windows 11's hardware requirements and need alternative operating systems. 240 million machines. NVIDIA's thermal problems, Intel's NPU surveillance pipeline, and 240 million computers that will never run Windows 11 because Microsoft drew the hardware line specifically to sell new Copilot Plus devices. Those machines are not going to landfills if their owners know about Linux. Those machines are being reborn. The repair renaissance is directly connected to the surveillance exodus. When you install Zorin OS 18 on a 2019 ThinkPad, you get back approximately 40% of your RAM because the OS is not running AI inference in the background. You get back your storage bandwidth. You get back your CPU headroom. You get back the machine you thought you owned. Let me bring this home. Let me give you the binary ending, because that is exactly what this is. Signal has responded to the recall threat by enabling a screen security feature on Signal Desktop for Windows 11, blocking recall from capturing screenshots of Signal chats using DRM techniques, similar to how streaming apps prevent screenshotting movies. Signal's move highlights how little control users have over recall's screen capturing on Windows. When the encrypted messaging app most favored by journalists, activists, and privacy professionals has to implement DRM just to stop your OS from photographing your private conversations, you have left the world of software preferences and entered the world of digital rights. Windows 11's recall feature quietly captures screenshots of everything you do. Not some things, everything. Your browser, your banking portal, your messages, your code, your medical records portal, everything. And the hardware underneath it, the RTX 50 series with 100-degree power delivery zones, the disabled hotspot sensors, the TPM 2.0 modules that hold the keys to your entire digital history, is not built to protect you. It is built to run the pipeline. You are not the customer. You are the product being processed. 2 million people already understand this. The "I'm done with Microsoft's nonsense" era is real, pointing to features in Windows 11 like mandatory Microsoft accounts and AI-driven data processing as the catalysts. The migration is not fringe, it is mainstream. It is ThinkPad users and office workers and parents and developers all arriving at the same conclusion at 11:14 p.m. when they open a network monitor and watch their idle PC phone home. Here is your binary ending. It is not complicated. It does not require a computer science degree. Option 1, you stay on Windows 11. Recall.exe keeps running. Copilot SVC keeps inferring. Diagtrack keeps transmitting. Your DDR6 memory subsystem, purpose-built for AI pipeline acceleration, keeps feeding the machine that was never really yours. Your RTX 5090 keeps running hot at the power delivery nodes on a PCB that never had a hotspot sensor to warn you. And somewhere in the next security disclosure cycle, a researcher publishes a new total recall variant, and your entire screenshot history becomes someone else's database. Option 2, you download Zorin OS 18 or Linux Mint. You burn it to a USB drive. You boot it. In 14 minutes, the telemetry stops. The background snapshots stop. The background inference stops. The fans slow down. The CPU headroom comes back. And for the first time in years, you are using a computer that is running computations for you, not on you. Secure your data now with Linux or lose control of your hardware forever. The clock is still running at 11:14 p.m. The only question is whose clock it is.